there is some form of culture being created whether you like it or not, right? So you may unfortunately hire somebody who believes that we don't deal with those people, or forget health. You sleep when you die, and you start hearing this person saying that he or she's not saying that that's the corporate culture, but he or she is saying it enough where it's becoming the culture.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're wondering why everybody is saying we don't deal with these people, when that wasn't the whole reason that you started it. And I had that a lot of times in FUBU. People came in and they wanted to be hired, and they thought this was only about a color, when it was the exact opposite. It was about a culture. And you're up there saying, well, I assumed it was for black people by black people. No, because then we would be guilty of the same bigotry, that the reason why we started it.
Yeah.
Right? And that can easily be a misunderstanding.
How much of your business should you document? Well, I always say you shouldn't write the way until there's a right way. What that means is that you don't have a fixed, consistent way for doing every single thing in your business. Some things you're still experimenting on. You're still testing to see what works. So you don't write the way, don't document a process until there's a right way, until there's a correct business-sponsored way of doing this thing. In most businesses, I think the magic number is between 50 and 80% of your company playbook documented. And that means the rest of that percentage is toward innovation and experimenting. Also, you don't need to delegate things at every time in your business. And so if there's no need to hand something off, maybe you don't need instructions just yet. Focus on the things that you need to consistently do and the things that you need to delegate. There's a reason for the order of these 4 Ps. Process comes last because multiple businesses can operate the same set of instructions, produce the same kind of results, and that doesn't really make them unique. That makes them a commodity. If you go one step forward, you've got your policies. You can have different rules in your business from someone else in their business, but you all follow some of the same policies that your government or your local legislation enforces. Go one step up and you've got your people. People can make a business dramatically different. Your people can be totally different than the people in another business. How they act, how they operate, their tone, their behavior really starts to establish your culture. And then at the very top, your profile is where the foundation of that culture exists. It's why you're doing what you're doing, your mission, your values, your vision, your founding stories, and the customers and the types of business that your company focuses on. Sometimes companies will have scattered documents where they try to capture all of this information, but it's not in a clear, defined playbook. The benefit of having something tangible, altogether centralized in one place, is great for when a new person joins your business so that they have an organized experience getting to know the company. And it's great for transitions inside the business. Anytime you have change management that you need to work on, it's organized and in one place. And it's also great if someday you decide to sell the business. You've got something concrete and tangible that you can hand over to a new owner or a new investor to say, here's the owner's manual for this company. Why do you think people, as they're building their businesses, don't do this work? They don't put together a playbook. They don't have time for it, whatever it is. Why do you think they just don't get around to it?
Because when they started their business, they wanted to be the best baker ever, or they wanted to teach the best yoga. And, the end goal was to understand they were bringing a joy to a person, but they may not have been, think about all the things they have to do. I came up with a clothing line. I just want to dress people. But now I need to know warehousing, marketing, manufacturing, taxes, overseas manufacturing, quota, delivery. How do I do all this, right? There's only 24 hours in a day, and I have a lot of other things to do. And at the time when you're small, everybody does know what's happening, because when you're small, you're hanging out with your 5 or 10 people, and they're all like, oh man, we got to do this, we got to do that. And, but when you start to get to that level of, 20, 30, the first couple generally are in your business because they believe in you as the founder, they believe in the business, they're into the mission.
Right.
Number 30, number 40 may say, no, I love to work, but by the way, I'm just here until I graduate college. I will do the best job I can. And that person not necessarily into the mission doesn't mean they're not doing a great job. And you don't tend to have that communication with them, and things change. I mean, today, whatever your policy was about tardiness or various other things, I say this all the time. If you had to change that policy in the office because you have 10, 20 people, and Sarah and Todd kept coming in late, it's very easy for somebody to say, you see why this is being changed? But if you're home with your computer and you don't know that people are logging on late or not, and then all of a sudden you get something like, we are changing the policy and this happens if you're late, you take it personal. What is wrong with these people? I am never late. How dare they, right? So how do you adjust these things? Because we're all human, and a lot of times it's not about what you said, it's the way you made me feel.
Yeah.
And if there's a way to communicate that in fairness, and I'm totally guilty of it too, because we're in another world, there's a way to communicate in fairness, you save a lot of turnover, you save a lot of confusion, and you get people's passion back to where you want it.
The intention is to be a good communicator and to be fair and to make a better company. And I think it can be misconstrued sometimes, because when you get into business to be a baker or to teach yoga, you don't want to be making policies and processes. And so when you get into that work, it feels like, oh, they're cracking down, or this place isn't fun anymore. But you've got to, find a balance between the control and too much control.
And even when you find that balance, remember, people are human beings, and the reason why I may not be at a good place in my life has nothing to do with you, right? And I'm taking it out on you because I feel like you're taking it out on me. But if there are, systems in place, and you realize this is what it is, it eases a little bit of the, you're pointing me out.
Let's talk about creating your playbook and really break it down. So first of all, when I say a business playbook, I'm not just talking about a long 3-ring binder kind of document. I'm talking about something interactive. It can be videos, it can be slides, it can be GIFs, it can be animations, it can be any type of media that best communicates the story that you're trying to tell. So use a variety of media formats. It doesn't all have to be writing. And then it doesn't all have to be on your shoulders to create. Chances are, if you're running a business or managing a team, you don't know every single thing that happens within your business or your team. So rely on your people, the people around you, to contribute to the playbook. A playbook is really a bottoms-up effort. It's the task of asking each individual person to outline what they do and what they know about the company, and then surfacing that and feeding it into one central repository. This is something that won't happen overnight, but that you can get started on really quickly. Your playbook's never done, and we'll cover that in a future video. But your playbook can start today. So if you don't have everything documented, or even those scattered documents, start with a blank page, start with a blank account, and wherever you do this work, you have to start. Start writing down what you know about the business, and that's what begins your playbook. As you're documenting your playbook, you can use text, you can use images, or you can use one of my favorite formats, which is video. Just like we're recording this video here, you can create a really compelling personal video telling your stories or describing your workflows just by firing up your webcam or your mobile phone. By putting a video and a face behind the content, you're really connecting with the person that's learning about your business in a way that you can't as much through text. So I love video, especially for things that are more personal, like when you're welcoming a new employee into the business or teaching them about the expectations for their upcoming training. Definitely use a video for that. But really, use whatever you're comfortable with, because the best format of documentation is the one that you're actually going to do. And if that's video, if that's audio, if it's text, if it's screenshots, if it's graphics, whatever it is, it's most important that you get it done. It shouldn't take all year to roll out your business playbook. Really, when you get this effort started, you're going to start with something simple like your orientation or your story. These are the things that come second nature to you, that you can sit down and press record on a camera and get right to recording, capturing, and then sharing that content. But as your playbook develops, you'll put more and more content into it. So as you start this project, start thinking about, when is the point that I want to launch this? What is the benefit that I'm trying to get out of this? Is it getting our whole existing team aligned around our culture or our vision? then maybe you start with that content and you roll it out to your existing team in just a few weeks. Or maybe you're working on a particular role and set of responsibilities, and your deadline for launching this is the date that that new hire starts in your business. Either way, you want to pick a time to roll it out, because your playbook will never be done, but it can always be started. So pick that date and put it on the calendar and work towards that as your first milestone.